There are more UFO sightings than ever before.
Strange lights. Alien life.
A UFO.
What lies behind this increasing number of reports?
What the is that?
4 expert UFO investigators are hunting down the truth. Maureen Ellsbury is a respected UFO journalist.
I've studied literally thousands of cases, and most have rational explanations.
Mike Barra is an experienced aeronautics engineer.
Before I believe in flying saucers, I'm going to need hard physical evidence.
The other 2 investigators believe that aliens are already here. Daryl Sims is a private investigator and ex-CIA.
I was abducted by aliens. I think they're a force for evil.
And Stephen Jones claims to have had contact with extraterrestrials.
ETs are walking down the main street right now.
In this investigation,
Wow.
multiple UFO sightings in South Carolina
I have no idea what that is.
and claims of an alien shootout in Ohio
What was down there?
The lights, that's when I aimed and started shooting.
lead to hard evidence of extraterrestrial technology.
Ben claims to actually have a piece of a UFO.
This was not made on the planet Earth.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Recently, there have been over 190 UFO sightings reported over the ocean. Now, the 4 highly experienced investigators are in town to discover whether aliens are behind this UFO activity and to gather evidence from local residents. UFO journalist Maureen Ellsbury has background information on the sightings.
So we're talking about these lights over Myrtle Beach, which have been reported along the Grand Strand for over 50 years. People seeing erratic lights flying over the ocean. Within the last 10 years or so, the activity's increased a lot.
Do we have any witnesses?
We actually have over 30 witnesses and counting, but our main witness is Joe Kiernan. So let me pull him up. He's a 36-year-old married man. He's got 3 kids. He first saw these lights in July 17th of 2012, but since then he's recorded tons of video.
Look at that, Anthony. Oh my God.
I cannot get
Look
that.
how bright that one just got.
I got it. I got it. It's glowing right now. That's it. Oh, it's fading out. I can't get it on here anymore.
Honestly, my gut is telling me that this is military activity and we can probably explain all of this stuff away.
Mike, you are so quick to take that route, man. This is a really interesting case, really exciting. This is a close encounter case, something really important.
In addition, I'd also like to see if there's any abduction reports in connection with these lights.
We need to get out there.
I've arranged to meet Joe at North Myrtle Beach, which is the location of his sightings.
Our team, let's go find them.
Come on.
I haven't had much help from any avenue I've chosen in helping find out what the lights are, what they might be doing. Is anybody safe? Is anybody in danger? These are all questions I need answers for.
Joe has agreed to meet the UFO investigators at Myrtle Beach Pier, less than a mile away from his home.
Daryl Sims.
Nice to meet you, Joe.
Nice to meet you.
Well, thanks for coming out to tell us about your sightings. Where out here were they occurring?
Well, we see them come from the south, and they head right up the coast, sometimes from the north, heading down this way, and they like to glow orange in this area here and take off in the southeast direction.
So are you continuing to see these often?
Lately, I started seeing them near my house. The lights are becoming lower. They're becoming closer in proximity to my family and my home.
Ex-CIA operative Daryl Sims is looking for other witnesses to back up Joe's sightings.
Is anyone else in your family or anyone?
Yes, my entire family has seen them at least 30 times.
How do you feel when you see these things? Do you feel fearful? Do you feel excited?
I do feel fear, and I'm looking for someone to assure me we're not in any danger and that we are safe.
Well, we're here to help you, and we're here to try to find out what in the world's going on and do whatever we can to see if we can resolve some of this.
Thank you so much.
It's
Thank
our
you.
pleasure.
So do you have any more footage you could show us, Joe?
I have a lot of new footage. I would really like to take you back to my house and we can take a look. I appreciate your help.
Fantastic.
You know, guys, I honestly feel really bad for Joe. I mean, he moved down here for this nice, peaceful life, and now he's getting kind of terrified.
Investigator Stephen Jones claims to have had positive contact experience with aliens many times.
Well, you know, this contact experience, to begin with, seeing these lights, was profound for him. But now, it's just been turned on its head, and there's some fear involved, I'm afraid to say.
But fellow investigator Daryl Sims claims to have been abducted by aliens and thinks they are a force for evil.
I used to work with exotic animals. They're great at a distance, but when they get real close, I don't have the sense of, wow, I need to go over and pet the tiger, see if it works.
But the intelligence behind these lights are not wild animals. They are sentient, caring beings reaching out to Joe and his family for contact.
I think you guys are making a few too many assumptions. We have a lot more to this case we need to see before we decide whether this is a hostile or non-hostile thing. Why don't we go to Joe's?
Okay.
As the rest of the team head to Joe's, aeronautics engineer Mike wants to follow a different lead.
Joe's an interesting guy, compelling witness, but he's not a trained observer. And there is another witness named Gary Travis, who is a pilot. So I'm going to leave the team right now, go over to the airport, and talk about what he's seen.
Gary Travis says he's seen the same lights as Joe, but from the air. Now, what I want to do is understand why a trained pilot thinks that these lights are UFOs.
Hey, Gary.
Hello, Mike.
How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Ready to fly?
Okay, great. Let's go do that. So how many years you been flying, Gary?
38 years.
38 years.
Yeah.
You've seen a few things in the sky, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, I've been watching the skies for a long time.
And we're off.
You know, I've never seen anything unusual while I'm flying until back in October of 2011. That was the first time. It was probably 15 minutes before sunset. And I was in the landing pattern for that runway. And there was no traffic on the radio, no other planes were announcing they were in the area.
What was it that caught your eye?
I'm looking for other aircraft, and I saw an orange light over the horizon.
Did this have any other lights on it, or was it just a big orange?
Just one big orange light. I just estimated 2 to 3 miles away at my same altitude.
Okay, so it's out over the ocean, it's bright orange, and it's away from the sun, right?
And I didn't look at my instruments, so I just flew straight toward it to get a closer look. You know, you read some stories about people seeing UFOs and their cars stop. I thought, it wouldn't be good for my engine to quit right now. You know, I didn't want to have to take a swim. I flew toward the light for about 45 seconds.
You knew immediately that there was something different about this.
It was very unusual. I'm always looking for other aircraft.
You know, most conventional aircraft, whether they're large commercial planes or military or whatever, helicopters, they've got strobe lights, they've got a red light, usually a green light.
It was definitely not an aircraft.
Okay, and how long would you say you observed it for?
I'd say 1 minute.
About a minute solid. And then what happened to it?
It just disappeared.
It just blinked out of existence?
Blinked out. All I can tell you is this. I've been flying for a long time, and I've been watching skies all my life, and I've never seen lights like these before.
Gary is unable to identify the lights, but Mike, who has studied aviation for many years, still believes there is a rational explanation for what Gary saw.
Gary's a great guy, rock-solid witness, excellent observer, tons of experience in the air, but what he described and where he pointed out that it was is right where they do the air combat training here locally. So I'm going to get up to the Air Force Base and find out what they were doing and when they were doing it.
Early next morning, the rest of the alien investigators arrive at Joe Kiernan's house to examine the new footage he has of the UFO lights.
This is the place where we're going to investigate this case thoroughly.
Hey, Joe. Hello,
Hey,
how
thanks
are
for
you?
having us over.
Oh, please come in. Very happy to have you.
Thanks, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Oh, nice
Good
to
see
see
you.
you again.
Good to see you, sir.
Please come in.
This is a lovely home you got here. It's very nice.
Thank you very much.
But before he shows them his video, Joe takes the team to the back of his house to point out the flight path of the UFOs.
The majority, when they come traveling right through here, And they tend to be right over this tree line here at an incredible
How close to
rate.
these trees and these houses do they actually get?
It's seldom they're higher than that tree line.
Joe followed the lights and filmed them at a pond behind the trees. He wants to show the UFO investigators just what he saw.
This is what I see over that pond. And you can see here, as the camera pans right, there appears to be something red that'll grab your attention. It enters there. When you put it in slow motion, it breaks the plane of the water. It will glow. And it enters there.
Wow. That's gone below the water?
Yes.
Wow.
By darn, that is strange.
I've never seen anything like this.
Four expert investigators are in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where multiple UFOs have been sighted over the ocean. Local witness Joe Kiernan has filmed the UFOs over the beach.
They glow orange and take off in the southeast direction.
And pilot Gary Travis has seen the same lights from a different angle.
I saw an orange light over the horizon.
But now, Joe Kiernan is showing the investigators new footage of the UFOs in a pond behind his house.
Every time it breaks the surface of the water, it will glow red, whether it's going in or coming out.
Wow.
By darn, that is strange.
But Joe has also noticed something weird under the surface.
The bottom of the pond appeared to have been a complete circle resembling a crater.
UFO journalist Maureen Ellsbury has seen similar reports.
You know, it's interesting, Joe, is a lot of people report USOs, which are basically unidentified submerged objects.
Right.
And a lot of people think that there could be some sort of bases that these things are going to and from. Yeah, I'm really interested to get out to this lake and try and figure out what the heck's going on there.
As soon as I cross into that area on my way to the pond, the uncomfortable anxiety does begin.
All right. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Despite Joe's fears, investigator and alien contactee Stephen Jones wants to take him back to the pond.
I appreciate your feelings about this, but if you would you return there with us?
I will, if you go during the day.
Meanwhile, fellow UFO investigator Mike Barra is on his way to a meeting that could provide a rational explanation for the UFO activity.
I still think Gary and Joe witnessed military activity. So I'm headed up to Shaw Air Force Base today to talk to Rob Sexton, who's the public information officer up there. And the things I'm going to be discussing with him are whether or not the air wing up there does training that could possibly explain some of these sightings. Hi, Rob. It's nice to meet you. I'm Mike Barra.
Hello, Mike. It's good to meet you. Welcome to Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina.
It's really cool. So the first thing that I'd like to ask you is, do you guys train here at all with your aircraft?
Well, yes, we do. Shaw's 20th Fighter Wing is the largest combat F-16 wing in the United States Air Force. Okay. We train over the ocean, off Myrtle Beach, all the time. And because it is combat training, our aircraft do eject flares.
Do you ever do training exercises over land, over populated areas?
Yes, it could occur over land as well.
Would you happen to have a schedule of the weeks in the last, say, 6 months that you guys
Actually,
have done
I looked into that, and so I'm able to provide you a schedule of the weeks that we did night fly in 2012.
Okay, that's fantastic, and we'll be able to compare that with the sightings that we have. I think the case to be made that these are flares is pretty strong.
That evening, Mike meets with Joe at Myrtle Beach. Mike's devised an experiment he believes will prove to Joe that what he's seeing are military flares, not UFOs.
We usually set up and film in this area here.
Oh, okay.
Right along the dunes here.
Mike is using a distress flare to simulate the signature of a military decoy flare.
They are parachute flares. They're going to go up about 1,100 feet into the air. And you've brought your camera, the same camera you've been using to record this stuff.
Fantastic. I'm very excited to do this. Very excited.
Great, let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Cameras ready?
I'm ready to roll.
All right, let's go. Did you get that?
I got it.
Do you think that that's what you've been recording? That's weird?
That's not what I've been recording at all, but it's a nice shot nonetheless. I can't wait to take a look at it when I get home.
Well, at this point, Joe's very convinced that it's not flares being fired from the beach. Whether what he's actually filming is alien spacecraft, extraterrestrial entities of some kind, I need a lot more evidence for that.
But just as Mike and Joe are packing up to leave, the film crew's cameraman spots strange lights in the sky above the beach.
They're standing right under that lamp, guys.
And Joe tries to grab footage.
I can hear something.
That's really interesting.
Get another one for you.
That's great.
There's two of them. There's two of them.
It's interesting they're flying like that, one right behind the other.
But it is a very weird pattern.
So incredible.
I'm not sure what they are.
Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're heading right over my house.
The alien investigators are at UFO hotspot Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Hello, how are you?
Witness Joe Kiernan has shown the team his videos of UFOs near his house.
Wow.
Investigator Mike Barra's test to prove Joe was seeing military flares has failed to convince him.
That's not what I've been recording at all.
But now they're in the middle of a real UFO encounter.
I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Is that incredible?
Wow. They're moving too slowly to be aircraft or any kind of jets. There's not going to be any combat testing tonight, so I don't really know what to say about them. They stayed in a very tight formation, which indicates military, but I'm not sure what they are.
Aliens?
It would be going too far for me to say that they were aliens, but I don't know what to say about it other than it was a bit strange.
The following morning, investigators Daryl, Maureen, and Stephen take Joe to the lake behind his house, where he recorded his footage of the UFOs.
This is it.
This is the pond in question. This is the area I have a high anxiety and large discomfort being in this area. At times could just be overwhelming, and I don't even want to be back here any longer. It's a tough place to be.
Joe, you know, we fully appreciate you bringing us over here, and what we're going to do today is we're going to explore the area. We're going to take its pulse.
It's fantastic.
Investigator and ex-CIA operative Daryl Sims is an experienced diver.
My part, we're going to go out in that water. We're going to do some sonar. We're going to check the bottom of this thing. Any other conditions that could affect this lake from any part of your story. Joe's encountered something here, and I want to find out if it's on the land, and if it's not, it's in the water.
Daryl has asked a team of underwater investigators to help him. They normally use their high-tech equipment to analyze crime scenes and search for unexploded bombs.
Gentlemen. Hello. You ready to go?
We're getting there.
All right. We're going to use side-scanning sonar to get a look at the entire bottom of the lake, see if there's any depressions or configurations that might be left by a UFO. If anything has happened out here and affected this lake, I will dive down and I will find out exactly what's in the bottom of the lake and what's there. I want to check everything that's out here that's an anomaly. I don't care what it is.
Joe told Daryl and the team that he thought there was a crater on the lake floor.
All right, so here we come along out of this cove here.
Right.
And you can see.
After just a few minutes of scanning, something strange starts to emerge on the sonar monitor.
Geologically, you know, it's kind of an anomaly.
You have any idea what might cause something like that?
Not a clue.
You ever seen anything like that in a lake before?
No, can't say that I have.
There's a depression out here that we found in the deeper part of the water. We've already marked it. We're going to go back and look at that. And some of these other configurations at the bottom of this lake, or this pond, kind of don't make sense.
The side scanner has thrown up an anomaly, but it doesn't give Daryl all the information he needs.
There's only one way for me to know for sure the UFO has landed in this water. I'm going to have to go down there and take a look.
Daryl is using an underwater camera to relay pictures to Joe and the team on the boat.
Where Daryl's down under the water right there, that's the area where the orbs of light were moving around in the water.
Okay, so if there's a signature of them being in the water, Daryl might be able to pick something up.
After more than an hour, Daryl finally emerges with his findings.
The fact is that this lake is crystal clear, nothing grows here. That's really odd, because everything around here is infested with alligators and every kind of biology you can imagine. There is absolutely nothing living in here. Absolutely nothing in this water, and I'm baffled as to why.
The UFO investigators regroup to discuss the latest findings. Both Daryl and Stephen claim to have first-hand knowledge of aliens. They suspect Joe may be subconsciously withholding information.
I believe his close encounters are more than just seeing lights.
Here's the point. Something profound happened to Joe at the lake area. That's why he has this huge reticence to go there.
I believe that Joe has had an encounter with the pilots that are flying these lights.
Stephen, who claims to have had lifelong contact with ETs, heads to meet Joe at Myrtle Beach.
I've been having ET contact experience all my life, and although challenging, it's been very positive. I believe the ETs are here to help us.
My suspicion is that Joe has had contact. He's drawn to certain locations, but he doesn't know why. And in my experience, my particular experience, and other people that I've spoken to, this is because he has had some direct contact. Hey, Joe. How's it going?
Good, how you been?
I'm good, I'm good. So you've seen these lights in a few locations now, but as I believe it, you feel there's like a reluctance in your heart to return to certain locations. Why do you think that is?
There are particular locations that do have an overwhelming discomfort when I do try to enter them at certain times.
In my experience, as somebody who's had very direct contact, would it be outrageous of me to suggest that you might have had more of a contact experience in these events than you remember?
I wouldn't consider that outrageous, because I haven't been able to find out what they are in any capacity. It's been a tough road all by myself. I've had to act particular ways.
You feel that their presence is connected with your presence?
Yes, I feel there is a message that I'm missing.
Whatever it is, these sentient beings have touched our lives. This is real. This is happening every single day to millions of people around the world, and we recognize each other. Joe, you know, I just want to say that meeting you has been an absolute pleasure. It just fills my heart with joy to meet another me that is having this sort of experience. So, Joe, thank you so much.
Pleasure's all mine, Steve. Pleasure.
To investigate the increased sightings of UFOs over Myrtle Beach, the investigators watched footage.
That is strange.
Wow.
Talked to eyewitnesses.
I saw an orange light over the horizon.
And saw UFOs themselves.
Wow. I'm not sure what they are.
Now, the UFO investigators meet to discuss their findings.
Guys, we were right. Joe admits he's had close contact with the ETs. I just hope he can get over his fear.
That's pretty amazing. That means that there's a pattern here. Some of these lights may mean that people are having extraterrestrial contact.
Yeah, when you say pattern, the first thing I go back to is the lights that we saw on the beach when we were down shooting flares. I mean, I have never seen aircraft like that before, and I really can't explain them.
But Daryl, who claims to have been abducted by aliens, believes he knows exactly what the UFO sightings mean.
Well, maybe I can give you some help there. When lights get close to people like that, it's usually contact. When they get super close, it's abduction. I can go back to my own experience and I can tell you it was awful.
And I have another case of UFO lights I think we should investigate, and this time it involves a father and son. And I think it may really help us try to find out what the extraterrestrial motive actually is.
Let's go.
The UFO investigators travel to Hopewell, Ohio, where recent UFO sightings have led to allegations of alien abduction.
So we have another case similar to Joe's, where a witness is reporting orange orbs as well as other unidentified bright lights in the sky. Now, the difference between Joe and our witness, Ben Foggin, is that he's also reporting that he's had multiple abduction experiences.
And I don't think that they're here to help us out and pat us on the back and all that kind of stuff. I saw a whole bunch of tables with a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of aliens around them doing the same thing that they were doing to me.
He's talking about horrific events going on in his life. This is abduction. There's no question about it.
Well, yeah, well, why don't we go meet Ben?
Okay. Let's go.
The investigators head to meet Ben, who claims that UFO lights, similar to those seen at Myrtle Beach, led to his abduction.
Ben Foggin.
Yes, sir.
Glad to meet you.
I'm glad to see you guys here. I've been wanting to talk to somebody about all this for quite a while.
Well, that's why we're here.
So, Ben, where and when was the last time you had some sort of contact?
Out in our backyard.
And what exactly happened there?
Ran into some orbs.
So is it in amongst the trees?
Yes, sir. There was two of them. They were white at first. And one of them disappeared and just left one. And it changed yellow, from white to yellow.
Ben, can you tell us exactly what happened here?
I was abducted.
The alien investigators are looking for a link between sightings of UFO lights and ET abduction. In South Carolina, witness Joe Kiernan felt threatened by orb-shaped lights.
I'm looking for someone to assure me we're not in any danger.
Then investigator Mike Barra witnessed them for himself.
I don't know what to say about it other than it was strange.
Now they are in Hopewell, Ohio, where eyewitness Ben Foggin claims similar UFO lights led to his abduction.
I was abducted.
Why do you think they did it to you?
It was like they were being trained or taught or something like that. I remember that I was on a table, opened up.
Physically opened up?
Yes, sir.
A medical procedure?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've had my ribs separated, some sort of clamps put on each side of my ribs, and I woke up. There was no cut, no sign of anything, but the sensation was there.
The ETs have done this?
Yes, sir.
How does it make you feel, Ben, when these things occur?
I'm mostly concerned about my family having experiences also.
Yeah, I agree. You should definitely be concerned about your family. Along those lines, I heard that there had been an incident with a shotgun.
Yes, with my son. He got a little bit excited and grabbed a shotgun, and I wasn't aware of what he was doing. And he went around and started shooting at it.
Oh, my goodness.
For Daryl, who claims to have been abducted, Ben's story stirs disturbing memories.
The aliens first came after me when I was a little boy, and then they came for my son. They come after families. This is how these cosmic skinheads operate.
Ben's son Terry agrees to show the investigators what happened the night he saw the UFO lights.
Is this about where you were at when this event happened?
Yes, this is the area where it happened.
What was it down there that caused you to shoot?
The lights, because it was like right there at the baseline of the trees. At first I thought maybe it could be hunters back there messing around in the woods with a bunch of bright lights, but no, I got no response when I yelled out, "Who's out there?" That's when I aimed and started shooting.
Terry, show me exactly what happened that night.
Sure. I was standing about right here. I cocked it, loaded it, and then I aimed it. The first one I shot was kind of like up here. Yelled one more time. "Who's out there?" And then I just started shooting at the lights. My heart was racing, adrenaline was pumping. I was pretty scared.
Terry, what was your need to fire down there?
I was scared. My reaction was just to grab it and I shot, and that's about it.
Terry fired 5 shells at the UFO, and his father Ben claims at least one of them hit the target.
It was making a noise that sounded like a broken washing machine. And then the noise stopped. And when it stopped, right after it stopped, I thought I heard a thump.
Ben claims that Terry's shots dislodged a chunk of material from the UFO.
Wow, I would really like to get my hands on that.
Got it right inside. I'll go get it right now.
Awesome, thank you.
Great.
What do you think?
Well, that's, if he's got it, that's really cool. I mean, that's something we could actually get our hands on and physically test. And if it turns out to be something unusual, something weird, you know, it could be, it could, yeah.
Very rare.
Here you go, gang.
Oh, awesome, thank you. Wow.
Wow, that is cool. Jeez, look at...
What did it actually land on?
There was gravel and sand.
Okay, so Ben, basically you found this thing in your driveway then, after having heard it hit to the ground, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So did you touch it straight away?
I bent down to pick it up, and when I touched it, it was hot.
Ben, if it's okay with your permission, we would like to take it to a lab for some testing.
You bet.
Ben, I'd like to take Steve, if you don't mind, and we'd like to go out to the driveway and look at the area and check it for radiation for a number of different tests we'd like to do.
Sure.
Good man.
All right, well, we'll see you guys later.
All right.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
Have fun.
Okay, good deal.
Maureen and Mike may have their hands on a fragment of the mysterious orb-like UFOs that Ben claims have been plaguing him and his family. They head to a lab to have the material analyzed by expert scientists.
Hi there.
Hi,
Nice
Maureen.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Maureen. Hi, I'm Mike Barra.
Hi, Mike. Nice to meet you.
Phyllis. Mike, nice to meet you, Nick. So here's the sample that we've been given from Ben Foggins.
The first test is to see if fragments embedded in the material are from Ben's driveway, where he claims it fell.
With this spatula, I'll try to get into some of the crevices and get enough material out to get a spectrum. There's plenty there. Okay. Oh, isn't that interesting?
Sightings of orb-shaped UFO lights in South Carolina.
Wow.
By darn, that is strange.
And Ohio.
They were white at first.
Led to claims of alien abduction.
I was abducted.
And material being shot off a UFO. Now investigators Maureen Ellsbury and Mike Barra are having the material analyzed and are getting surprising results.
Okay. Oh, isn't that interesting? Right here is a little bit of silicate from the dirt in the driveway.
Typical limestone gravel is used in Ohio for...
Yeah, a typical driveway.
So that can confirm that it was actually in his driveway.
Yeah.
The traces of dirt found on the material back up Ben's story of a lump of hot metal landing in his driveway. But more tests must be done before Mike and Maureen will find out what the material is made of and where it came from.
Yeah, do you think you could call me with the results?
Certainly will.
Great. I'm really excited to figure out what this is.
As Mike and Maureen wait for the lab results, Daryl and Stephen are back at the site of the shooting. They want to carry out tests of their own.
Alrighty.
Very good.
Daryl has a theory that UFOs become radioactive as they travel through space, and that they can leave a signature of radiation where they land that can be detected by using a Geiger counter.
When you push this button, it'll set it on. Now, the little clicking you're hearing occasionally, that's normal background radiation.
That's nothing to worry about.
Nothing whatsoever.
The higher the levels of radiation, the more clicks the detector will emit.
Hey, Daryl, have you picked up anything yet?
Nothing, no signature yet. Nothing on the trees, nothing on the ground.
Okay, can you go down to the exact location where the craft was sighted? Keep on going.
We're picking up a trace of radiation right here.
That's more than background, yeah?
It's more than that.
Okay, what's happening now is Daryl is in the direct location where the craft was spotted. He's experiencing more radiation than background. It's saying something happened here.
As night falls, Mike and Maureen finally get the call from the lab. They have completed their analysis of the mystery material Ben found in his driveway.
Hey, Nick.
Hi there, Maureen.
So I'm really anxious to hear about the results of these tests.
The ratio of strontium-87 to strontium-88 was somewhat out of bounds. It's something other than a normal terrestrial strontium isotope ratio.
I guess I'd have to ask you at this point, if there was some chance this was extraterrestrial, could it be a meteor, or does it have to come from something that's manufactured?
Yeah, it would have to have been manufactured somewhere. It really does not appear to be an exact match to any known alloy, at least none that I've been able to find.
The next day, the UFO investigators regroup to assess the new evidence from Ben Foggin's UFO shooting incident.
I picked up two radioactive signals. One was on a tree, one was directly beneath where the lights were at.
So you're saying you actually found radioactive material right where they had their sighting, right where he shot at it?
Exactly where the light was.
While they were firing, they may have actually hit something and knocked some radiation off into the tree and onto the ground.
Well, that's another piece of the puzzle that fits perfectly.
We also have some really compelling results from what we found out at the lab.
Okay, this little baby right here is really fascinating stuff. First of all, it's an aluminum alloy, and what that means is it's manufactured, okay? So it's not any kind of a naturally occurring material, okay? The interesting thing about this particular aluminum alloy is it contains some very strange trace elements, and they have an isotopic ratio that is pretty far beyond what would be produced on Earth.
So you're saying it's...
That this was not made on the planet Earth. It was made somewhere else. Yeah,
really?
Absolutely. In that sense, this little hunk of metal is kind of the holy grail for this entire case.
Wow.
Outstanding, outstanding work.
Yeah,
if Ben needed any more credibility, this is the cherry on the cake. Mm-hmm. Let's go.
The UFO investigators have uncovered mounting evidence that orb-shaped UFO lights may be alien craft.
Wow.
By darn, that is strange.
Multiple eyewitness accounts in Myrtle Beach.
I saw an orange light over the horizon.
The lights are coming closer in proximity to my family.
I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Claims of abduction in Ohio.
I was abducted.
Debris from an alien shootout. And confirmation that the metal may not be from planet Earth.
It really does not appear to match any known alloy.
This was not made on the planet Earth.
All point to possible link between sightings of UFO lights and incidents of alien abduction. The team meet with Ben Foggin to reveal their findings.
Good, my friend.
Ben, how y'all doing?
Good, good.
Very good.
Thank you for loaning us your metal. We took it to the lab for analysis, and from the tests that were done, it came back saying that this was quite an unusual aluminum alloy.
This object is definitely two things. It's manufactured, and it had to have been manufactured somewhere else because the tests indicate that it could be of extraterrestrial origin.
But I'm sure you're not surprised by the unusual qualities of this metal.
I know where it came from.
How do you feel now, Ben? Does it feel better that you've shared your experience with us?
Yes, I feel for people that's going through the same thing to help them along.
Yeah, that's important, I think, Ben.
Ben, this will help thousands and thousands of people. The fact is that these entities, in my view, are not here to save the planet, fix the ozone hole, or do anything like that. We're never going to know the truth unless people like you come forward and show your evidence. Then that allows us to put together a pattern and find out exactly who they are and what they're doing.
Thank you.
After gathering first-hand evidence from 4 witnesses across 2 states, the UFO investigators sum up the case.
You know, for years people have been separating UFO sightings to abduction cases, and now we have evidence that those are linked. You know, and now we're having a rise in sightings. I think we're going to get a rise in abduction cases as well.
Well, that really troubles me. The alien's not here for our benefit, and that's not really any good at all.
Yeah, but Daryl, you know I disagree with you, man, and I just feel that if Ben and Joe can, you know, dig deep and find some inner strength, they'll know that this is not a threat.
All this stuff aside about abductions, what amazes me is that we go from a case where I think we really don't have much physical evidence to a place where I'm actually holding something in my hand that probably came from somewhere else. And that's just like, I don't know, it's bizarre, it's thrilling.
If that's the case, Stephen, I hope you're right, and I hope the reason is they're up to good.
Let's go.
With more UFO sightings than ever before, who is safe from alien abduction? Find out next time on Uncovering Aliens.